Shannon Thigpen with Shine Yoga. Let's look at chair pose. I think everyone knows what chair pose is and has their variation of chair pose, but I'd like to be a little specific on some things I'd like you to be mindful of. Now make sure that you follow your doctor directives and you have permission from your healthcare provider before doing this or any other physical activity. All right? Very good. So I first want to show you a wall chair. Good. Chair pose from the wall. Okay? Make sure that if you don't have on shoes, or even if you do, they're non-skid, you're on a non-skid surface. That's really important. And when you come against the wall, one of the things that's really nice about it is that your back can be really straight. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to come against the wall. Okay? So your back can be really straight. You'll move your feet out in front of you, far enough in front of you, so that when you start to bend, your heels stay on the floor. Okay? So your heels are not going to pop up. Good. Now, if you are bending and you feel discomfort in your knee, then you'll have to come up and not come as far into your bend. Make sure your heels are down so your feet have to come out far in front of you. And you might already feel that in your quad. Now, your knees, do not let them cave in. Do you see what I'm saying? Cave in. When your knees are properly aligned, they will be over the ankles and you will be able to see your toes because your heels are out. Good. And then you lower. If you're not feeling the stretch, you lower more. Okay. Keep the back straight against the wall, and already you may be feeling those quads. Inhaling and exhaling. Come on, breathe. Come on, we're just going for like 15 seconds. 5 more seconds. Woo, you can feel those, right? And press through the heel to come out and come up, okay? If you feel like uncertain, like you might need a little more assistance, then maybe you have a chair or a countertop near you so that you can have that for support, okay? Let's do it one more time. Make sure your feet are out and aligned. Let me face this way now. This wall. Your knees are not caving in. That's so important. And you lower till you feel challenged. Now you don't want to lower below hip-knee alignment, but you can go to hip-knee alignment. All right, let's go for 15 seconds. You need more challenge? Bring your arms up. Oh my gosh. And you talk about work? It is really work here. Inhale, exhale. Shoulders away from the ears. If that bothers you or pulls on your back, then you're not going to stay here. You're going to bring the hands back down. Can you go for 5 more seconds? Okay, so ideally, if that wasn't challenging for you, go 30 seconds and do a couple of times, say 3 times, 30 seconds, so a minute and a half. You talk about strengthening your quads. Yeah, baby, you're going to strengthen your quads. Inhale, exhale. Now I'd like to do a chair pose away from the wall. And you can have your chair in front of you, one behind you. I just want you to be mindful every time you sit, every time you stand, of the form that you're using to have a seat. And ideally, you're not plopping, plop into the chair. Okay, you're intentionally lowering yourself, and I don't have a chair here so you don't see me lowering into a chair. And ideally, your upper body stays more, it's gonna fold slightly, right? You're gonna come forward slightly, but ideally, you're not here by the time you sit in your chair. It depends on the flexibility in your hamstrings, so you're working on that, your calves, the strength in your Achilles, your calves, also your hamstrings. So Achilles lower than the calf, right? You have to have the flexibility there, and in your calves too, and the strength in your hamstrings, upper thigh, strength in your quadriceps, front of your thighs, and that's your chair pose. Inhale, exhale. Making sure the knees aren't caving in, and come up. All right, so more difficult is when we start to lift the arms. Now, when you lift your arms, just in general, I always say your shoulders are away from your ears. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. And you may think, well, what do you mean? I'm lifting my arms, my shoulders are going to go up. Well, look at the difference here between keeping my shoulders down away from my ears, even though my arms are up. Now look, I see no neck. It disappears. My shoulders are at my earlobes, right? So that's the difference. So can you keep your arms up and the shoulders down? It takes muscle strength in the trapezius and the erector spinae, so the upper back muscles, right? If you need to, bend your elbows, and then that will help you, or widen your arms, and that will help you. If it pulls your back, or you still are not able to keep the shoulders away from your ears, you can gain that strength, but for now, keep your hands down, okay? All right. Here we go, into the squat. Your heels down, so your hips are going back. Your arms up, shoulders away from the ears. Again, if that pulls on your low back, you're not doing it. And your navel to the spine. So careful that you're not hyperextending in your low back. You'll feel it. You'll feel the strain in your low back. Your tailbone is going down. Sometimes some of these demonstrations, because I'm not really blessed with the butte, I can't give as good a demonstration as I'd love to. But, I just wasn't we all have our blessings, and that, that just wasn't one of mine. And come up, So, if you're of African American descent, within our community, it's always been, not just in the last 10 years, it's always been beautiful to have a big old butt. Well, Shannon never had that. So as a kid, I used to try to walk around like this, and so I had to make corrections, alignment corrections, to get out of the habit of doing that. And I actually did have pain in my low back because I was walking around trying to pretend I had a booty. Well, okay, you can't have everything. We all have our blessings, and that's not one of mine. All right? So again, make sure your tailbone is going down, not lifting up, and you're not hyperextending or arching in your low back. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Okay, so your tailbone is at the end of the spine, and it's going back slightly, but down as well, and you're engaging your core there. And then if you can lift your arms, make sure your knees are not caving in, and then come up. Good, can you do it again? Down. Good, breathe. Nice, extending through the arms, and come up. Let's just lift a leg, and extend it back. Nice, and bring it forward, and place it down, and chair pose. Breathing, feeling that stretch in the calves and the Achilles. You can go a little bit lower if that's all right for you. Come up, pick up the knee. Good, because we always do a flow, right? We always do. Back. Good, bring it forward. Place it down. Let's do one more squat. And breathe, shoulders away from the ears. Your hands don't have to be together, they can be apart. Heels are down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hands to heart center. Great, fantastic. Listen, just start where you are, do what you can. You do have greatness inside of you, and I believe in you. Namaste.